We'll start with Jack.
Thanks, Nuria. Thanks, everyone. Chair Smedberg, Chair Allen, thank you for the opportunity to update you. As you mentioned, we've had 3 advisory committee meetings. We're making progress on it. I'll share a couple of high-level observations. I know Nuria and Nick will get into the details around it. One thing is that when we started in our first meeting, we really did get bogged down in what I would consider to be some technical issues about reliability and frequency and issues like that. But we were quickly able to elevate to a more strategic level. It's really important from the community partners' perspective and the business community is to remember what is it that we need this system to do. So we can run on time, but if it's not doing what we need it to do, then that's a bigger challenge. And what we needed to do, and Nuria will get into the vision that we are proposing here, is, we needed to stimulate economic growth. We needed to improve our global competitiveness. We needed to help us achieve climate goals. We needed to do a whole number of things, inclusion and social goals that we have across the region. So that's why we need this system. And then that opens the door to some other conversations that we were having too, is that whether or not somebody rides the system every day, they're still dependent on people who do. So this really is a regional asset. It's not just, isolated. It really affects all of us. And that's really important when we start thinking about the funding mechanisms and how we're going to structure this as we go forward. And so we made a lot of progress on that, and happy to answer questions later on about any of those issues, but Nuria and Nick will go through that in more detail. But what that then led us into was conversations about how do we think about the various systems across the region. And from our perspective, we're a little bit agnostic about that. We think there's a lot of opportunity here to integrate more effectively, to bring all these different systems together. And it's all about the customer experience in the end, and how do we get customers from point A to point B in the most seamless way possible. And so you'll see quite a few of our recommendations are based on looking at those opportunities and how we can move those forward. And then also too, as has been alluded to here, is that really understanding the cost structure. From the business community's perspective, we need to understand what the costs are so that we can understand better what we're funding and what the return on that investment is going to be in the long run. And so digging into that. And what I would say is, and from what I know, and I still have questions around this, and so does the advisory committee, and we're just starting to scratch into that. But what I do know, it's a good story. But we need to get that story out there much more than we have already. Because, as everyone here in this room knows, there are a lot of perceptions out there around Metro. And we've got to put a lot of those to the side if we're going to move this forward. And so those are some top observations that I've had in the work that we've been doing. And again, as we get into the details, Nuria and Nick, happy to provide any further guidance or answer questions.